Welcome to the Business Miracles Podcast. I'm Heather Dominick, founder of businessmiracles.com and author of the book Different, The Highly Sensitive Leadership Revolution, found at differentthebook.com. Since 2010, I've been training highly sensitive entrepreneurs and leaders from around the globe to work less while making more impact and income by doing things differently. I'm so glad you joined me. Listen in and get ready. Get ready for a shift in the way you view yourself, your work, your life. A business miracle. This is A Course in Business Miracles podcast, episode 175, Hope as an HSP in Business. Join me as I share how to use hope to accelerate your ability to take action in your business so you can effortlessly create next levels of business growth, new creative marketing endeavors, or any of the other unique ways you are meant to be making a positive impact for others. Faith is confidence or trust in something or someone that is not based on evidence. However, it is firmly grounded in an inner knowing that what is needed already exists in the spiritual realm. Take a moment to write that down. Faith is confidence or trust that what is needed already exists in the spiritual realm. Whenever I'm teaching any form of manifestation, I always emphasize the reminder that the physical is the final phase of manifestation. We don't go from 0 to 100. We go through multiple phases, aligning our faith with our feelings, aligning our faith with our actions, and then therefore the ultimate final experience of the physical aspect of manifestation. But truly, what is needed already exists in the spiritual realm. Hope. Hope is the optimistic attitude of expectation. Let's write that down. Hope is the optimistic attitude of expectation. Hope, secured by the power of faith, expedites the creative process and provides the energy to call forth what is desired. And I'll share that again. Hope, secured by the power of faith, expedites the creative process and provides the energy to call forth what is desired. Faith and hope. Hope as a gateway to so many aspects of our highly sensitive strengths. When we are untrained as highly sensitives, we are operating from shadows, we are operating from coping mechanisms, and we are driving the operation of shadow behavior and coping mechanism behavior from fear. Primarily fear that we won't be able to handle the overstimulation that our nervous system tends to. Yet when we are trained, when we are in training as highly sensitive entrepreneurs and leaders, there is an opening, a consistent cultivation of access to our strengths. Strengths such as our ability to be spiritual by nature, strengths such as our ability to be creative. Therefore, hope is that gateway. Hope is that gateway to our strengths, our ability to create. Hope is the optimistic attitude of expectation. Hope, secured by the power of faith, expedites the creative process. Therefore, meaning it speeds up, it accelerates our ability to access our strengths, and it provides the energy to call forth what is desired. So this is a time of year to remember our calling, to remember our calling as highly sensitives, to remember our calling as highly sensitive entrepreneurs, to remember our calling as highly sensitive leaders. This end of year time does not need to be hard. Please write that down. This end of year time does not need to be hard. When it comes to your focus of leadership, when it comes to your focus of the success you desire to create, not a lot of planning is needed. We are living through exceptional times. You've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it many times. You will hear me continue to say it. The times of planning out an entire year ahead, those times are gone. Write that down. That is an old form of leadership. That is pre-pandemic. That is last century. Part of how we are being called forward as highly sensitive leaders is to learn how to be both focused and fluid. Write that down. To be both focused and fluid. This is the way to counteract the old pattern of New Year goals and resolutions that were typically forgotten by February anyway. Instead, the new year energy is consistently in motion, not relegated to January 1st and 2nd, and maybe January 3rd if you're lucky. Time is different now. Write that down. The old reliable form of being able to pretend that we have control over time in a day, time in a week, time in a month, time in a year, those forms of planning, pre-pandemic, old century, 3D. That's a way to plotting to plan the year ahead. Ugh, heavy, hard, technical, intellectual overload. We are now in a space of 5D. We are now in a space of shifting from 3D to 5D. Shifting from the difficulty of operating only in the physical realm, 3D, third dimension, entering into a space of operating physically within the spiritual realm, an experience of effortlessness. The very best thing that you can do to support yourself in being able to be both focused and fluid as we flow into this new year is to assess the year that has just passed, to assess the last 6 months at the very least, and to access your highly sensitive strengths as part of this assessment. Allowing you, again, to access your highly sensitive strengths when reviewing the year that has passed in support of the year that we enter into. The 6-month, 12-month assessment process supports you in rising above the fray of socialized trends, and most importantly, accessing hope. Accessing hope regardless of what is happening around you. Please write that down. Accessing hope regardless of what is happening around you. That ability is the mark of a highly sensitive leader. Let's write that down. A highly sensitive who is untrained, a highly sensitive who does not choose leadership. That highly sensitive waits for the other 80% to dictate and decide which way the world is going to go, the economy is going to go, the community is going to go. the day-to-day is going to go. The highly sensitive leader, someone like you who has chosen intentionally to enter into the space of highly sensitive leadership, someone like you, someone like each and every one of us, someone's like every person within this community, we choose differently. Please write that down. We choose differently. We choose to access the power of hope regardless of what is happening around us. And we're going to begin that access. We're going to begin that tapping into the power of hope together here, right now, as a community in this weekly training roundtable. We're going to do this specifically by calling on our HSE strength of intuition. Please write that down. Your HSE strength of intuition is going to be an imperative piece as we enter into this next exercise together. Intuition is the ability to access guidance beyond the intellect. Intuition is the ability to tap into the power of one's own heart brain. As we have discussed previously, for those of us who have been in the community and through Intuitive Planning Day together, and for those of you who are first and now beginning to enter into the space of operating from your intuition, I'll remind us and I'll share for those of you who are hearing it for the first time that our heart brain has been shown through scientific research to operate 6 to 8 seconds ahead of our head brain. Our heart knows before our head can process. By leaning into your HSE strength of intuition, you learn to not only listen to your heart, but to hear your heart and to follow your heart. So this exercise that I'm going to guide us through to access hope is an exercise that I learned and received through in-person training with author and artist Julia Cameron many moons ago. And she uses this exercise to access that space of the heart, to go beyond the limitations of the intellect only, to ideally be able to enter into a space of flow in the same way that she teaches in her process of morning pages. The intention is to let go. The intention is to surrender. So please write that down. Part of what supports that ability through this exercise is a quick pace. So for those of us who are highly sensitive and we recognize that we tend to like to take our time, we tend to move more slowly. We tend to really need space to process. And there is absolute value and validity to that. And an exercise such as what we're about to engage into is an invitation to let go. Almost as if you can imagine yourself maybe like in a kayak floating down a river. And there's so much trust and surrender that you actually place the oar down and you lift your hands up. And you allow the flow of the river to carry you forward, trusting that you'll be delivered to the shore. Now, I'm just going to be honest. If it was me in a kayak and somebody asked me to place my oar down and lift my hands up, I know that I would immediately physically go into panic. And I would intellectually try to figure out what are all the ways that I can control this kayak without using my hands and the oar. All to say, I totally get it with the invitation to truly let go and to trust. All to say, allow this exercise to work in the way that it's meant to work for you, but see if you can release the panic, release the need to control, and surrender to the space of the pace, and allow yourself to receive the answers that you're meant to receive without having to slow down the process through the intellect, but instead to just access the space of the heart and intuitively allow the answers to flow through you from the divine, tapping the top of the head, to the intuition, tapping the third eye, to the voice, to the heart, to the hand, flowing out through pen to paper. Breath in and let it out. Take your non-writing hand, place it on your heart. And together, we will pick up pen. We will have paper, journal, notebook, whatever you tend to take your weekly training roundtable notes in. Gather together again, breath in, and let it out. You're going to hear me give you prompts. Go with what comes to you. Just write it down. No right, no wrong, no judgment. Surrender, trust, faith, intuition, hope. And we will begin. My New Year hope is my New Year hope for my health is my New Year hope for my relationships is my New Year hope for my finances is my New Year hope for my work is my New Year hope for my purpose is my New Year hope for my life is my New Year hope for the children is my New Year hope for the artists is my New Year hope for the scientists is my New Year hope for the medical professionals is my New Year hope for the teachers is my New Year hope for all the races is my New Year hope for all the religions is My New Year hope for all the governments is my New Year hope for all the countries is my New Year hope for the world is my New Year hope for the planet is my New Year hope for this community is my New Year hope for highly sensitive leadership is my New Year hope is breath in and let it out. Together again, breath in and let it out. One more time, power of 3. Breath in and let it out. Staying in this space of surrender, staying in this space of faith, staying in this space of leading from the heart and intuition, and staying in this space of hope. May you be happy. May your heart be strong. May you have hope all year long. Hands on heart, breath in, and let it out. I close us with this quote from Maya Angelou. If you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. May this next year be that much brighter.
Thank you for being a part of this Business Miracles podcast episode and for beginning to dip your toe into the journey of highly sensitive leadership training. If you are ready to truly use your sensitivities as strengths in all parts of your work and life, I invite you to connect for a one-on-one chat. You will experience being deeply listened to, and together we'll get a sense of whether the highly sensitive leadership training programs are the best next step for you and your highly sensitive journey at this time. Just go to www.claritycall.com to schedule a conversation. We so look forward to connecting with you. Talk to you soon.